All right, guys, so today we are going through and doing some EQAO practice. So on your whiteboards, you're going to be doing the answers. The teacher there is going to pause the video to let you have some time to work it out. Then the video will be unpaused and I'll go through and give you the correct answer and show you the how. So first question, Tristan, pay attention. An equation representing the height of a burning candle is given by that equation there, h equals 2d minus 1/2 t. So where it tells you all this information, h is the height in centimeters, d is the diameter, and t is the amount of time. So it tells you the candle has a diameter of 6. If the candle burns for 2 minutes, what will its height be? All right, so pause the video now. Please work that out on the whiteboards and show it to the teacher. Okay, so how do you do this question? This is practicing substitution. So your rough work or your whiteboard should look like this. You are going to substitute in d. We know that the diameter is 6. So it should be 2 times the 6. They tell us the time is 2 minutes, multiplied by 2. So this is just calculator work. 2 times 6 is 12, minus half of 2, or 0.5 of 2 is 1. So you should have got an answer of 11 centimeters. So for people that got C, you got it correct. Next question. All right, so this one, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. They are asking which scatter plot shows no trend. So which scatter plot shows no trend? All right, so that is the question. So pause the video. Okay, so which one shows no trend? Remember, the trend is when the data cannot fit in a hallway. So for the first one, all the data fits in a hallway. Second one, data fits in a hallway. The third one, the hallway is curved, the last one, the hallway is curved. This is the correct answer, C. The data is all over the place. There is no trend there. All right, moving along. In this question here, I'm going to zoom in to read it. So it says, consider the 4 different relationships presented below. All right, so the question gives us the 2 graphs and 2 tables of values. They are asking how many are linear relationships. So how many are linear relationships? So there are 4 here. How many are linear? So pause the video. Okay. So coming back, how many are linear? So to be a linear relationship, it has to form a line. So this one is definitely forming a line. This is a curve. All right. Curves are not lines, so this is not a linear relationship. Down here, I kind of penned in the values so you can see them a little bit better. Looked like it went up by 14, 20, 18, and 8. So that definitely does not follow a constant rate of change. So that is not linear. And the third one, 13 to 9. So that means it went down 4. 9 to 6, it went down 3. Right there, it's not going down at a constant rate. So the answer here, there is only one that is a linear relationship. Okay. Next, which of the relationships represented below has a constant rate of change? So how many have a constant rate of change? All right, so pause the video, and we'll take it up in a second. Okay, so when we look at these 4 graphs, a constant rate of change, what does that mean? Okay, Elizabeth, put your hand down. I can't see you. I'm not actually there. So constant rate of change means that it is linear. Linear means constant rate of change. So this A graph is definitely not linear. Jumping across, I guess this is C. This one is linear. It is the correct answer. D is a curve. That is not linear. Now B, some of you might have answered B. It is, for this section, it's a constant rate of change. And for this section, it's a constant rate of change. But they're talking about the entire graph. So because it's not constant the entire time, this one does not count. There are really 2 areas of constant rate of change. They're only looking for one, so the answer is C. All right. Okay, I talked about this one over and over again. So it says here that Kathleen is creating is creating his own summer gardening job. For each garden, he will charge $10. So for each garden, he's going to charge $10 plus $8 per hour. So $10 initial value and then $8 per hour. So the question is, which of the graphs below best represents this situation? So you can pause the video now. Okay, so which one represents this? So the first thing, let's start with this initial rate of, this initial value. All right, has to have an initial value, so it has to start at $10. First graph starts at 0, so you can't start at 0 if you have an initial value of 10. So A is out. B, again, initial value is 0, so that one's out. This one looks like an initial value of 10. This one looks like it has an initial value of 10, so it's one of the two. So it's either C or D. Now, if it has a rate of change means a constant rate, or a constant rate of change, which is linear. So that means our answer is C. D is a curve. It is not a constant rate of change, so the answer here is C. Moving on to the next one. Let's see here. I'm going to zoom that out a little bit. So it says that Maya is taking a trip to school, so I'll read this for you. It's a little tough to see. So Maya walks to her friend's house, which is halfway between home and school. So she walks halfway between home and school. They stay at her friend's house for a few minutes, and then Maya remembers that she forgot her lunch, which means she's got to go home. Maya runs back to get her lunch. When she gets home, her mother drives her to school so that she's not skipping Spencer, and gets her to the school. So you're going to pause the video now and tell me which one is going to her friend's house, staying there, coming home, and then getting a ride to school. Okay. So all the first two, if you're going to leave home and go to your friend's house, that means you started at home. So this is a possibility, and you went to your friend's house. This one's also a possibility because you went to your friend's house. Now these don't represent being at home. They represent being somewhere other than home. So C and D are definitely not possibilities here. So the answer must be A or B. So then we stayed for a while, and both of those represent staying. Then Maya went home. So which one represents going home? A part, we are going the wrong way. We do not know where home is in A, so that is not the correct answer. Here we have Maya going home and then getting driven to school. So if you had B for your answer, you are correct. Good job. Next. Some of these have 2 on the page. This one does not. All right. 2 questions here. So the graph below illustrates the relationship between distance driven, all right? So distance driven is on your x-axis, and the amount of gas, so how many liters you used. So the question is, how many liters of gasoline are in the gas tank when the distance driven is 300 kilometers? So how much gas is in the gas tank at 300 kilometers? Pause the video now. Okay, so we need to find 300 kilometers on this graph. Now, this is the amount of liters, so we're not going to find 300 kilometers on the y-axis. So that means it's going to be on the x-axis. So there's kilometers driven. Here's 300. So how many liters? You need to bounce your graph, bounce up to the graph. Here's the line where it intersects. You need to look across, and you see that it is an answer of 20. So if you answered B, all right, you are the winner. B is the answer. Next, question 7. The cost of a phone call at a hotel is determined by that formula there. C is the cost in dollars. T is how long you were on the phone for in minutes. What is the length of a call that costs $5.85? So pause the video now and give everyone a chance to try this one. Alrighty, so this one is an algebra question. So we know the rough work on your whiteboard should look like this. 0.35 t plus the 0.6. What does the 585 represent? It represents cost. So the cost is the C value. So 585 equals 0.35t plus 0.6. How do you solve for t? I can hear Joel yelling out, get rid of the 0.6, because remember, you want to get rid of this term, or sorry, get that term by itself. So we're going to subtract 0.6 from both sides. So 5.85 minus the 0.6 leaves me with 5.25 equals 0.35t. And how do you get t by itself? And as usual, I'm betting Tyler's yelling out the answer without putting his hand up. But he is correct. You need to divide both sides by 0.35 to get t by itself. All right, so 5.25 divided by 0.35, we get an even 15. So people who have 15 are correct. That is the process. They are testing your algebra skills on this question. That's what it's got to look like with your rough work. Okay, there is no shortcuts. All right, moving along. More graphs. So, reading the question, so Dakota and Jamie have part-time jobs. The graph below represents the relationship between their earnings. So this one's Dakota. So make sure you take a look at the graph here first. What do you notice about it? This one is Jamie. What do you notice about it? The question is, so down here, whose graph represents a partial variation? And, there's an and, what is the initial value? So we're looking for a partial variation and the initial value. So pause the video here so you can take some time to figure out what is your answer. Good luck. Okay, partial variation. Partial variation does not go through 0, 0 or the origin. So people who are saying Dakota is a direct variation, you are correct. Dakota is not the answer, so it is Jamie who is the answer. So when we look at Jamie's, we need to figure out what is the initial value. It's located right there. So 10, let's go up by 10, so it's $30. So in the multiple choice, Dakota is taken out immediately. We were looking for Jamie, and it's at the $30. So the answer is C. A little tricky to see that, but the initial value is 30, and that is for Jamie. All right. Next one. For babysitting, Becky charges. Charges according to the equation C equals 5n plus 9. Hint, hint. This might be important. C is the cost in dollars. N is the number of hours she babysits. Which statement about this situation is correct? So I'll give you, pause the video now. You'll have a chance to try this on your own. Okay, so which statement's true? So let's talk about what the equation tells us. We know that the number that goes with the variable is our rate of change, which is also our unit rate. So that means that Becky is charging $5 an hour. We know this is your initial value. So she's charging $9 to show up. All right, so there must be some nasty children. So Becky charges $14 per hour. This is incorrect. Flat fee of $14, incorrect. $5 an hour and plus